How's it going, man? How you doing?
Yeah, man. What'd you do this weekend?
I have no idea.
You don't remember?
Yeah, it was just one of those weekends. Like
It's only Wednesday, man. How do you not remember what you did over the
it
weekend?
just happens. Like, just
You're
blurry.
crazy. You're crazy.
How was your weekend?
I don't know. I don't remember that video. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
it's
lie.
the same thing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll see y'all
Alright,
later.
I'll see you later, man.
I think I kind of mumbled. Memory is the mental activity of recalling information that you have learned or experienced. It sounds pretty simple, but there's a lot more to it, because your brain is actually an organ with a lot of complex synapses and processes going on inside it. It's an organ, but it actually works a lot like a muscle, because you can exercise it, you can nurture it, you can work it out and make it stronger, just like you would, one of your biceps or something. There are three types of memory: sensory, short-term, and long-term. Sensory memory is the shortest. It only lasts a few seconds, even milliseconds sometimes. It's basically a snapshot of sensory input, like what you see, what you hear, what you smell. Matt, when Jamie came through just now, do you remember what color shirt he was wearing?
I don't.
You don't. It was gray, but it was only a few seconds ago, but since it was only Matt's sensory memory, then it pretty much just passed in and then went right out. The second type of memory is short-term memory. It's very fragile. It's a little longer than sensory memory. It lasts usually about 5 to 10 minutes, but it's still also very fragile. You have to store it. You have to commit it to long-term memory for it to work. Just a little exercise. Hey, Seth, can I get you to remember 4 words for me? Banana, race car, waterfall, laser. See if you can remember this. Alright. Long-term memory is the third kind. It's almost infinite. It can be tricked sometimes, but it's your most reliable form of memory. It's information that starts in the short term and then gets committed to long term. So when you're studying, when you're trying to memorize things, that's what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to put in your long-term memory. And Matt, or Seth rather, what were those 4 words?
Taser, I don't remember.
See, that was in his short-term memory, and obviously he didn't commit it to his long-term memory, so that was the problem right there. As far as long-term memory goes, if you put it in that section of your brain, it's going to stay there for a long time. Seth, have you ever had a history class?
Yeah, love history.
What year is the Magna Carta signed?
1215.
There you go. That's in his long-term memory. He'll probably never forget it. The main reason people forget things is because they never actually learned it in the first place. You have a gland in your brain called the hippocampus. It's basically the gland that acts as a switching station to determine what information goes where in your brain. Some information that you take in needs to be discarded, some information needs to be taken in and stored. And your hippocampus is the gland that takes care of that. It takes 8 seconds at least to pass info through your hippocampus and into whatever part of your brain that it decides. So even if you're looking at something and you think you know it, it takes longer than just a glance to commit it to a certain part of your brain or a certain type of memory. There are things that hinder memory, a lot of things, especially in a college atmosphere. Information overload is one huge factor, especially when you've got a full workload of classes, constant studying. You want to make sure you don't process too much information, because then your brain's just going to start frying, basically. All-nighters, long study sessions, those are things that are going to actually hurt your memory rather than help them. Stress is a big factor. When you're stressed out, your brain actually shrinks your hippocampus, that gland I was just talking about, and it actually makes it function less efficiently. So if you're stressed out, you're not going to be able to remember things as well. Alcohol, smoking, those kind of things, especially in college life, those have a direct effect on memory and memory loss. Fatigue is one big factor, like I said. All-nighters, if you're doing a lot of physical stuff, you play sports, you got to make sure you're staying well-rested. You don't want to be tired, especially before a test, especially if you're studying, because, like I said, your brain's just not going to function as it normally should. High blood pressure is another thing. Lack of exercise. You've got to stay fit and active in order for your brain to function efficiently. And those are just some of the things that hinder memory. There are other factors involved. Some things that help memory are, of course, staying healthy. You got to get enough sleep. You got to eat right. Exercise, trying to stay fit. Those are all crucial factors in retaining information in college, especially. Managing stress, like I said, when you're stressed out, that gland in your brain, it shrinks up and it doesn't work as well. You got to relax. Your mind will absorb information better if you're comfortable, relaxed, and in a good place. You got to stay organized, of course. If you're studying something, learn the information starting from general and go into the specifics. You don't want to start with detailed information and go into broader categories. You want to go from general to specific so that you can retain those things more efficiently. Create associations, make diagrams, make cartoons, whatever you need to do. Those kinds of practices are going to really affect the way you retain information. Another thing is staying physical, like I said, exercising, working out. Those are really important, but even while you're studying, being physical is important. You can get up from your seat, pace around, recite information verbally. Those things are all going to help you absorb things faster and more and for longer. Like I was saying about committing things to long-term memory. It takes at least 8 seconds of intent focus to pass information into your long-term memory. You want to also study in an atmosphere of productivity and activity. The library is a great place for that. Any place on campus, any of the labs, any of the study halls, anything like that, those are places who have energy that is geared toward work, productivity, and studying. So you want to put yourself in those situations rather than a place that might distract you or prevent your brain from absorbing information. Also, taking breaks is a big factor when you're studying. You're going to have lots of textbooks and notes and stuff to read and memorize. And you may feel like you're pressured for time sometimes, but if you go for 4 or 6 hours at a time without taking a break, your brain's just going to start going slower and slower and then absorb information less efficiently. So you want to take a break at least every 45 minutes to an hour. Just give your brain some time to cool the jets and then get back to it. You want to make sure you don't overlearn things. Or rather, you do want to overlearn things, especially if you're doing something involving exercises like math. You may think you know something, but even once you understand something, you have to put it into practice over and over again. It's that expression, practice makes perfect, but it really is true. Use multiple senses also when you're studying. Reading, talking about things, drawing, hearing things. All forms of sensory input are going to aid in committing things to long-term memory. Make sure you don't no marathons, no study, adventures for days on end, because those are just not going to work. It's statistically proven that 3 2-hour study sessions are more efficient than 1 6-hour study session. So make sure you're not, trying to take in information for a long time, all the time. And the Academic Success Center has plenty of aid available for students. They've got a copy of the study cycle for students available on their website and at the Academic Success Center. You can use that as a reference for good study habits, good ways to study. Pretty much everything I've been talking about up there. You can use that study cycle. Also, memory prompts are a very important factor. Mnemonic devices, it's kind of a tongue twister, but they really work. Those are, rhymes, jingles, phrases, anything catchy that's going to help you remember things. I'm sure we all remember the "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally" that we all learned in, middle school arithmetic. Those things are going to stay with you. You're always going to remember them. You want to create associations, like I said. Try to relate ideas that you're learning to personal experience so that you can look at that and then draw information from those. Visualizing things, that's also really important. And also, just as a general technique, flashcards are useful in almost any subject, whether it be math, English, anything. Those are physical things you can hold in your hand and look at, and those will help you a lot in studying. And then chunking is another really important thing. Matt, if I were to ask you to memorize Clemson football's entire starting offensive line, how would you do that?
Probably put them into like specific groups, like small groups, and go from there.
Right,
Yeah.
categories. You would you'd probably memorize your linebackers, and then just chunk it down into groups. That's the best way to do that in that method. And like I said, the Academic Success Center offers plenty of services, one-on-one, face-to-face, so that they will help you out and relay these ideas to you personally. They offer tutoring for over 60 courses, and even if there's not tutoring available for a course that you're looking for, you can sign their request log, and if 2 more people do it, then they will locate and recruit a tutor for you to receive supplemental instruction. SI, supplemental instruction, is also a really crucial service that the Academic Success Center offers. Again, that's one-on-one FaceTime with somebody who knows what to do and how to tell you how to do it. They offer academic counseling, academic coaching with people who work for the Academic Success Center and can offer you that private service. And also workshops. Those are located around campus, and you can access those to get help in almost any subject you need. Remember all that.